We're pregnant! Hi, I'm Kelly, and this is my wife.
It's me, Sarah.
There you go. Welcome back to our channel. We try to do vlogs, and it doesn't happen. And we try to make videos, and it doesn't happen. But it's because we don't see each other. So, it's Easter, and we have our makeup on. And we're together with the baby napping, and we're ready to film. So we did reciprocal IVF to get pregnant, which is I'm carrying the baby and it's Sarah's egg that I'm carrying this time. Our first pregnancy, if you're not familiar, we did IUI. I carried the baby, so it's my egg. So we're just gonna talk about, hopefully quickly, our journey through the decision of reciprocal IVF and like how we got there and quick and dirty fun stuff. Okay, so we started looking. I like to look into things, so I started looking in the summertime last year, 2020, while our daughter was still 6 months old. I wanted to look at fertility clinics because the one we used before, it was when we lived in Florida, and now in Pennsylvania we had to like start all over with clinics. So I looked into some fertility clinics up here in Pennsylvania, and I just went with the one that was pretty much affiliated with my OBGYN. It seemed more streamlined, hopefully anyway, in this process we're in, and we ended up liking them, so that was nice.
Yeah.
I don't even remember when we secretly bought sperm. We didn't tell our family. I don't remember when that was, though.
I think it was in like August 2020.
Okay. So we knew we wanted to have another kid, hopefully 3. And we wanted, it's important to us that they have the same sperm donor. If that didn't happen, then that's obviously okay. But if we could have our kids have the same sperm donor, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Like they, as close to genetic siblings as possible. Not that that matters, but in the grand scheme of things, but it would be nice. So our sperm donor that we got pregnant with was no longer donating, probably because they hit the max or something. So all of the leftover vials were reserved for families to expand their families, like people who already got pregnant with that donor. So all they had left were like tiny ART vials instead of, so the vials that we got were the ART ones, and they're typically used for IVF because they're a smaller amount of sperm per vial, whereas an IUI vial would have, depending on the donor, it could be like, I'm making this number up, but it could be like from 15 million mobile sperm to 30 million mobile sperm, whereas like an ART vial might be like, they said higher, but I'm like, could be like 5 million mobile sperm to like 15 mobile sperm, something like that. But it was also cheaper because it was a smaller vial. Great.
Yeah. What did we get? 5?
We got 5, yeah. We got 5 because there was a deal with our sperm bank that if you bought 5, you got like 6 months of free freezing. Well, they're already frozen. Storage, yeah. Or like a year, I forget which. But there was like, if you bought this amount. And it took us 6 tries with an IUI to get pregnant with Reese, so we weren't sure how many it would take this time. And again, we started out planning on doing an IUI again with me carrying and using, my eggs. So that was the intent. Cut to, we had a conference call or a Zoom call,
right,
with our fertility doctor. So they kind of, I guess we could have, if we didn't vibe with her, I guess we could have picked another one. I didn't ask. I just like put in a request that to see a doctor. Like the website had like
bio.
Yeah, but it's like words.
Words.
Like if you didn't vibe with someone, I'm sure you could just ask to get another doctor, which would be totally awkward, but I'm sure you
Yeah.
could. But we really liked our doctor. She was cool and nice. And they paired us with a gay doctor, which I think was on purpose.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I was like, oh. So it was great. Like, it was easy talking with them, and she asked, you know, what our plans were, and since we said we would do IVF if we could, she already suggested Sarah get blood work done when I was getting blood work done, just to have all the ducks in the row if in the future we stumbled over a bag of money and we wanted to do IVF.
Mm-hmm.
Just to find out, I guess through the blood work, you could find out.
The like quality of eggs, I thought.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but whatever, sign. So did that, and then so after the blood work, I had an initial ultrasound, and that's when they told me, or like we're going over my insurance. Sarah couldn't be there because of COVID, so they're going over the insurance with me, and they told me that IVF was covered. I was like, no, it's not, and they're like, yes, it is. So
Basically back and forth.
yeah, and I was like, I'm not that smart with, because I said, you know, when we were having our first go around, I called the insurance company a lot to confirm what was covered, what wasn't covered. So they're like, oh, your insurance, you know, changes every year. Maybe it changed. I was like, well, okay, well, I called and it seemed that it was covered. So condensed that story. And we decided to do IVF, reciprocal IVF. Sarah has no desire to ruin her hot body.
Exactly.
So this was when, looking at my notes, didn't write that down. This was,
Probably like September through October.
yeah. And I wasn't trying to get pregnant in September, but I wanted to start the process. And since our daughter was born in January of 2020, we thought, maybe we could have, if we could try and get pregnant in November, December, then we would have, like, my deductibles would have been met if it applied. And hopefully, you know, you want to save some money on this expensive journey.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my body's already fucked from the first pregnancy. Just kidding. But kidding. So if we could save money somewhere, that would be great. What's, you know, doing in December versus doing it in January, February.
Right.
Yeah. Well, apparently it matters if you had a C-section. So our doctor was concerned because I had a C-section with my first daughter that she wanted to wait as long as possible. So we did our transfer in December instead of November, which I was prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
But you had your retrieval in October.
On Halloween.
On Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Halloween egg. So on Halloween, you had 20 eggs retrieved. I was shopping at Target.
Which was a surprise.
Yeah, it was
to
a
the doctor.
Mm-hmm. Because she thought, because when Sarah would go, you would go like every day, right?
Yeah, towards the end, yeah.
To see if like how she was reacting to the medication, which we could do a separate video about medication. I was allowed to wait in the waiting room, but they said it would be like 3 hours. So I went to Target in the area and went shopping. And then I got a call earlier than I expected, and it was our doctor. And she was like, we got 20 eggs. I can't believe it. And because she thought she was going to get 6 because of all the ultrasounds that you were going back and forth for, like daily. They would look at the follicles and they didn't think that they were going to get that many. So, which is fine because we weren't going to have like 10 kids.
Right.
But I guess you want as many as you can just in case there's anything, you know, if there isn't an egg in the follicle. But They ended up getting 20 eggs, and after day 5, they after their we didn't do ICSI where they inject sperm into the egg. She said because we have sperm donor sperm, that it's already mobile and that there isn't a male factor in our, besides being lesbians, male factor, our male factor. So they just like, put the sperm with the egg, let them do the thing. And they got, I think they all, I don't know, I forget what the day by day was, but by day 5, we had 16 fertilized eggs that were A-okay. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. Sarah had like maybe 4 eggs that were like I don't know what the
Yeah, I forget.
I don't know. So then it was my turn. We didn't do a fresh cycle because since that was October and we were waiting till December for me to do the transfer. So we had them frozen, and in December we did our first transfer, and I want to say normal drugs. Watching people's videos, like there's a lot of variations on what types of fertility drugs that you would take, and it seemed like mine was like the typical estrogen, progesterone, needles, pills, suppositories, those kinds of things. The first one in December didn't work. So, side note, at this point, after Sarah's retrieval, we found out that our insurance did not cover our in vitro. So we already started, and we were planning on waiting before we did our second transfer, since we had to put up the cost for the IVF unexpectedly. And Sarah all of a sudden in January was like, let's just do it. So I was like, okay. So in January I called, and because we told our doctor we think we're gonna wait a couple months before we proceed with the second attempt, and we did it in January. Our doctor was hyped. She was really excited that we were doing reciprocal IVF. Mm-hmm. Probably like nerdy and fun for someone to do reciprocal. Like it's not.
Well, just even like being a patient there, like they don't get a lot of gay people, I don't think, or gay couples.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they would call me Kelly.
Yeah.
And they'd call you Sarah. So.
Yeah, they clearly had their ducks in a row. So because my first transfer did not work, our doctor, we also didn't get our eggs tested too. I forgot to say. Our embryos weren't tested at all because she said she wasn't concerned, since Sarah's eggs were 30 years old and so young and vibrant. She was like, it might just be a wash if you only plan on having 1 or 2 more kids with like the testing, because the testing is a cost, and then it might also be an additional cost per embryo. I'm not sure because we didn't do it, because she said, she was so confident in the eggs being healthy and viable, and that if one didn't work,
just save the money for the next cycle.
Yeah. So I appreciated that wasn't pushed on us, and I was like, are you sure? Are you sure though? Are you sure you're sure? Like ready to do it? She's like, no, you don't need to. I was like, okay. So she said since it didn't work with us for the first time, we had a few options that she was comfortable with, which was doing a natural cycle. I think she said to do the whole cycle again, the same, mm-hmm. with the same drugs. Do a natural cycle, or do a mock cycle where I take the same drugs, and instead of getting a transfer done, they would take a sample of my uterus at the time and find out in a nerdy way when the best time was to do a transfer for me specifically. I don't want to freaking do that. Like, that is like so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy. She said if the second transfer didn't work, she would highly suggest us doing the mock cycle. So we ended up doing a natural cycle for the second transfer, and the natural cycle meant
No injections.
I had no injections. Yeah, like I still had drugs to take. Like I still took estrogen. I still took the pills, the 5. I probably took the same amount, in my not doctor opinion. I still took the same drugs, just not the shots. Instead of taking progesterone and oil, I took a progesterone pill orally. It worked. We got pregnant on the natural cycle, which is great. She said because I was pregnant before, we could do the natural cycle. I was happy not to do the shots again because the shots suck. And you have to do the shots like up until you're 12 weeks probably. Did you imagine?
Nope.
I was complaining about the pills because the pills would make me so exhausted. And they're like, well, at least you're not taking the shots.
You're right.
So we're due in October, which is really exciting. Little fall baby. We don't know what we're going to have yet since we didn't do genetic testing. We're going to find out when we can find out. Not sure if we're going to do a blood test. That's in the air right now, or if we have to wait till 20 weeks. But I'm 12 weeks as of right now. But I guess on an ending note with IVF and reciprocal is ask the questions. Every time I would go, they kept asking me if I was on this medicine. And I was like, that was never brought up to me. Should I be on this medicine? Oh, no. They're like, are you on baby aspirin? No. Should I? So they didn't, it was really weird, like the questions I would be asked, because it didn't seem like they knew the answer. Like they wanted me to supply all the info, and it was just a lot of info that you had to keep track of because they clearly they have so many patients, I guess, and they're like writing down, the nurse would write down, okay, tell me your meds. Are you on this? Like, no. I'm on this and this. Oh, okay. What about this? No. And check with your insurance.
A lot.
Specifically ask is, how do I qualify for this in my insurance? Because while our insurance did cover IVF, I didn't qualify for it. That wasn't told to me, and that's where we got bucked. Well, I think that this baby is, gonna be a little miracle baby because we planned on doing an IUI using my eggs, and had no intention of doing IVF. So things happen for a reason. And we got dicked over for a reason, and this baby's here. The light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll make a video about my symptoms while on the medication. That was videos that I was really interested in because the medication you're on while doing IVF make you feel pregnant. I thought I was pregnant the first try, like so pregnant, and I so wasn't. So the second time was different with my natural cycle, and so hopefully we'll have more videos coming your way to help you on your IVF journey, fertility journey, and hopefully we have some vlogs coming your way so you can see my cute ass babies. Oh, well, the other baby's not here yet. So. But all right, thank you.
Thanks for watching.